the times I remember it was very cultural. Drinking people woke up drinking days from Fridays to Sundays.
And then you said, how cool that man is. How are you sitting with that music or here?
That's how it is when you grow up. You know, I was never a person who liked to drink. I always liked to dance, all that. But he was never a person that I liked abusing alcohol or drugs. None of those things, but when one grows up, he will realize how much time that person wasted in formalizing himself. Grow, know yourself, evaluate yourself, become evolutionary. Think about how you can increase your own interests so that you have a life or feel that you have lived a more fulfilling life for yourself. You can't imagine how much talent we've lost this way because maybe the next Mozart got drunk every night the next. Einstein never went to a classroom because he was easily influenced by other people. No, then because the Ecuadorian himself is especially well hardworking and also smart, but
But if you let yourself be influenced and don't believe yourself saying, hey, this is no longer okay. Well, all right. Yes, I already did, but to this day, I haven't missed doing this anymore. Either I stopped doing this or I have to study and I went to suck all weekend and Monday in the exam. I came out wrong for you, but hey,
or it's wearing no.
or oh, you know what? That subject is not very important. I leave it and you leave it and you worry. But no, if you had an exam or an evaluation or something, dedicate yourself to that, then there will be time to have fun.
Of course, everything has its time.
Everything has its time.
Sure, I wanted to ask you the last question because really, David, we have to do part 234 that we have a lot to talk about.
Was it good?
Chatting with you and gaining knowledge has been fantastic.
For whatever times.
Yes, yes, brother, we have to do this more often. This, what would be something you would like society to do? Had influence, because we are talking about influence, we are not talking about bad influence. What would be the good influences that you think could make a generational change in the next 20 or 30 years?
First, that people become aware that things the way we are doing them is wrong. First, that there are ways to do them right, but we all have to generate that change. What dare I say, from the same diet from now on? Because the impact is going to be later than most hospitals. They are full of people with hypertension, diabetes, poor kidney function. But if you had changed the way they ate 20 or 30 years ago, they wouldn't have come to this, or with the complications they have now. So I would believe that the first thing is education, if we can, in the cultural part, at least in the food part, that at the end of the day, when they reach 40 years old, they will already have many serious diseases. Hypertensive was our friend. Young man died of hypertension.
Sure, it was truly an amazing experience.
Kong.
And an excellent professional. I mean, why? I've seen some of his work and he was an excellent surgeon. This is also a very good dentist.
That's why I'm telling you, but I had poor food quality and I know it. Did he go too far in his weight that this also led to diseases, or simply know what our or the possible diseases we may have through our family member? For example, I already know that I may be hypertensive, diabetic because of my mother. So what can I do? I will try to take care of myself because obviously I can get sick, yeah. But if I take care of myself, maybe I won't get the 40 I have now, but the 60, whether or not those types of diseases will ever come to me. If I start taking care of myself, of course, I won't tell you that I've always been taking care of myself. I also desperately ate different things, but there came a time when I said, no, I can't do the same thing. And that's consciousness, because in the end, most diseases are because of that. If you realize
Prevention?
increasing exercise helps prevent various issues alongside better eating and self-care.
That's what you have a good point to end, not the education of raising awareness, because, for example,
And that way you need fewer pharmaceuticals, although I am.
Exactly.
But
Are we going to put you out of business then?
what I'm getting at is that there are ways. What happens is that people are good at medications, but they will reach a point where, hey, you have to take care of yourself. You don't want the savior to come, medicine to save you. You have to
Your lifestyle. Like,
change you because I can continue selling you everything, making all the medicines and all the miracle creams you want. For me, it's going to be a business, but this planet is like a reflection. That's it. Love yourself because it is the only form of change you can generate.
sure. Hopefully people can listen to that and actually find something to help them with our conversation, because maybe this is also a message for our listeners, just like the chemist can do a lot of things. That is, the chemist has knowledge of the compositions, how the thing works, and can do something that seems impossible in something tangible. Likewise, on a psychological level, people can begin to plant seeds of thoughts to be able to create different behaviors, and everything has to do with it. It's not just about motivating or including yourself, but about seeing more perspective. And I think that the limitations of perspectives is what means that people can't even consciously become aware of themselves. And when you did that, you said it very well. You cannot have your own criteria for the always reason that there is no conscience. And that carries that it doesn't exist. Awareness is because you do not look for perspectives that really make you smarter and give you more solutions. For example, no one wears very few, they wear other people's shoes because they can't put them in their own shoes. So psychology always begins with one taking responsibility for oneself, thinking about the consequences of oneself, and the negative or positive effects that any decision will generate.
Of course, you can't save anyone if you don't save yourself first.
Exactly.
Did we talk about psychology at the end?
And maybe it's a topic that we can explain a little more on another floor. Well, definitely after this program, I'm definitely going to have to keep in touch to do a second part, because there have been so many other questions that I have in mind, and that maybe not you either, and we can define when and do it again. The truth is, I had an incredible time. We need to talk about the anecdotes from school. They are legendary. We should talk about them more.
Invite more colleagues to see if we do.
Can I tell you some before we say goodbye, like a blooper? Do you remember when we were, I think in sophomore year, when we were behind the barcito, the small bar at school? There was a big bar and a small bar. Well, what is that?
By the Colosseum.
For the Colosseum, exactly. But then I remember once, I don't know if you remember, a colleague named Shower, and Shower was annoying that he had a new suitcase, this one and the other, and he was already tired. Then he took a shower in the bathroom and he was just doing his needs. And I took a big bucket, but I was already tired of the girls who complained to you. You know what it's like? Well, man, full of water, those yellow ones, those big ones. And I bathed him, and we were just, well, just in the white uniform. And it turns out that we had to go to training, and precisely that shower bar had red underwear and got wet. The uniform was transparent then, and the dog man wasn't turning pink. It looked like a thong, and we were terrible. We really were terrible. Hey, and I remember you didn't know what to do anymore. He wanted to run the formation, beat the inspector's puppy because he was leaving. Yeah, we definitely have to surrender again to do another chapter. Actually, I've been through it too. I hope you had a great time here. Always, whenever you want to talk about any topic, this channel is open.
No, no, look, in the end, we addressed many things, and to close it is clear. Change is that we all have to generate it. I know my profession is half complicated. Many see them as difficult subjects, chemistry, mathematics, calculus. It's not interesting, but as I tell you, it's the conscience that one must have to be professional. I develop in different types of fields. and above all, always in sales. In raw materials, it will not only be in the pharmaceutical part, it will be in the plastics, food part. So that's why I was talking. The thing about medicines, and do not consume medicines, because if I eat good foods, I can also sell that raw material. It will still generate changes for me.
And David, how can they contact you internationally if they need your expertise?
I have accounts. Well, social media is professional linted.
Yeah, me.
Yote,
If you want, send me the information to leave at the bottom. Anybody who needs a chemist, whether you're in Ecuador, you're in Spain, you're in China, wherever, David is a person who can truly guarantee that standards are met and that the work will always be done well.
and not only for the maquila manufacturing part, but you can be the commercial representative of your brand. Here you can manage both raw materials and finished products, and that market opening Ecuador or other countries that can.
Well, thank you, David, really.
Thank you. Okay.
Having been here, part two is going to be more fun.
Can we do that? We can do it. There's no problem. You let me know and we program.
Cool. Well, that's all for today. We sincerely thank you. David, we express our deepest gratitude to David, who, despite his busy schedule, has been able to generously dedicate over 2 hours to us. I genuinely hope that our listeners have more questions than answers, just like us do.
Furthermore, if they generate questions, the second podcast episode can be dedicated to addressing that.
We will precisely answer that question. Until the next episode, thank you all immensely. Excellent job, everyone.